Okay, let's talk about something that nobody really tells you. You know, the kind of English that actually gets you the job, the one that gets you that promotion, the kind that makes people really listen when you talk. It's not about memorizing complex grammar rules or endless vocabulary lists. No, it's something way more powerful. Yeah, it's all about idioms. I mean, think about it. These little phrases, they pop up in pretty much every major competitive exam. But, and this is the important part, they're in every single meeting, every negotiation, every important conversation you'll have in the professional world. If you can master these, you're not just learning English, you're learning the language of opportunity. So let's get right into it. So here's the plan. We're not just going to throw a random list of phrases at you. No, we're going to build a proper communication toolkit, all organized by what you need to do. We'll start with idioms for speaking and seeing truth. Then we'll move on to facing tough challenges. And finally, we'll cover strategy, action, and surprise. By the end, you'll have a complete toolkit ready to go. All right, first up. This first set of tools is all about being clear and honest. These are the absolute fundamentals, right? They help you cut through all the noise and get straight to the point. So let's talk about calling a spade a spade. It's all about being direct, not sugarcoating things. So get this. There's a manager, Priya, and her team member, Rohan, isn't doing well. But instead of just telling him straight up, she kind of softens the feedback, you know? Fast forward 3 months, and Rohan is suddenly put on an improvement plan. He's totally shocked, asking, "Why didn't anyone just tell me?" Well, the answer is simple. Nobody called a spade a spade. That hesitation, that lack of directness, it almost cost him his job. Okay, this next one, Bite the Bullet, has a pretty intense origin story. Seriously, picture this. It's the 1700s, you're on a battlefield, a soldier needs surgery, and there's no anesthesia. So what does the surgeon do? He hands the soldier a lead bullet and tells him to bite down on it. That's where it comes from. It's about facing a tough, painful situation with courage. And we do it all the time, right? Like finally filing your taxes or making that dentist appointment you've been putting off for months. Sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and get it over with. Now, reading between the lines is kind of the opposite of calling a spade a spade. And the history here is super cool. Back in the 1800s, spies would write secret messages with invisible ink, literally between the lines of a normal letter. To see the real message, you had to heat the paper. Today, it's the same idea, just without the fire. When your boss looks at your work and says, this has potential, you better read between the lines. What they're really saying is, this isn't good enough yet. Go back and fix it. So let's tie these first 3 together. It's kind of like Gandhi's 3 monkeys, right? Call a spade, that's speak the truth. Bite the bullet, that's face the truth. And read between the lines, that's see the truth. Speak, face, see. It's a really powerful little combo for clear, honest communication. All right, let's add some more tools to our kit. This next batch is for when things get really tough. We're talking about idioms for handling adversity, making difficult choices, and yeah, even dealing with failure. This one is about being stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea, and this example is just perfect. Okay, imagine you have a super messy flatmate. You basically have 2 choices, right? Option A, you confront her, but she might get mad, move out, and then you can't afford rent. Bad. Option B, you say nothing, but then you're stuck cleaning up her mess forever and you slowly lose your mind. Also bad. See? That's the whole idea. It's when you have to choose between 2 equally terrible options. Oh man, cutting corners. I'm pretty sure we've all done this. You're building that IKEA bookshelf, right? The instructions clearly say to use all 12 of those little wooden dowels. But you're thinking, nah, 6 is probably fine. And it is fine, for about 3 weeks, until you wake up to a crash and find all your books on the floor. That is cutting corners. It's trying to save time or effort by skipping something crucial, and it almost always comes back to bite you. And what do you do when you fail? You go back to the drawing board. This one's all about starting over. So, true story. I once tried to make cheese, and I added way too much salt. It was just a salty disaster. I couldn't fix it. I had to toss the whole thing and start completely over. I literally went back to the drawing board. And that's where the phrase comes from. Designers and engineers, when a plan failed, would have to go back to their actual drawing boards and start from scratch. Okay, time for a quick, rapid-fire round. 2 more for you. First, barking up the wrong tree. This is when you're blaming the totally wrong person or focusing on the wrong solution. Like yelling at the delivery guy because the traffic is bad. Not his fault. Next, biting off more than you can chew. Oh, we've all seen this. It's when you take on way too much work. You know, that super smart student who joins 5 clubs, takes extra classes, and then just burns out completely. So, lesson here, make sure you've got the right target and know your own limits. All right, let's get to our final set of tools. These are the strategic ones. These idioms are all about planning your next move, knowing when to wait, and, most importantly, how to handle things when they go completely sideways. Think about this phrase, hold your horses. Literally, imagine you're trying to control a bunch of powerful horses that are ready to bolt. You got to pull back on the reins, right? That's the whole idea. It's about pausing before you do something impulsive. You get that angry text at 2 a.m. and you're ready to fire back? Hold your horses. Your boss sends a frustrating email and you want to reply immediately? Hold your horses. Just wait a minute. Think it through. So what's a dark horse? It's the person or team that nobody expects to win, but then they do. It's the ultimate underdog story. For years, the musician Sia was writing huge hits for superstars like Beyoncé and Rihanna, but she was totally behind the scenes. Then, bam, she releases her own music and becomes a global star herself. A total dark horse. Or think about Morocco making it to the semifinals of the World Cup. Or the movie Parasite winning the Oscar for Best Picture. Nobody saw them coming. And on the opposite end of surprise, you have this, getting your ducks in a row. This just means being completely obsessively prepared. And there's no better modern example than Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. I mean, think about the logistics. Before she even steps on stage, every single stadium is booked. Security's planned down to the second. They've even coordinated with city transport. They have contingency plans for their contingency plans. That, my friends, is not luck. That is a masterclass in having your ducks in a row. So this one comes from baseball. A curveball is a pitch that's meant to trick you. It looks like it's coming straight, but then it breaks and drops at the last second. And, well, life does that too, doesn't it? It throws you a curveball. You prepare for a one-on-one job interview, you walk in, and surprise, it's actually a group presentation you have to give in 5 minutes. That's a classic curveball. A sudden, unexpected problem that makes you change your plan on the fly. Okay, picture a boxing match. The fighters wear gloves for protection, right? It keeps things within the rules. But when you say the gloves are off, it means the polite, rule-bound part of the fight is over. It's about to get serious. So there's the story about a startup founder getting pushed around by an investor. They had polite disagreements for weeks, but then the investor threatened to replace him. And the founder finally said, okay, the gloves are off. He went right to that investor and said, if you force me out, my entire team walks, and so do our biggest customers. The investor had to back down. That's what it means. You stop being nice, and you start fighting for real. And there you have it. See, we didn't just go through a boring list. We've actually built a powerful toolkit here, a set of tools you can start using like right now to make the way you communicate so much sharper and more effective. So just take a look at what we've assembled. You've now got tools for seeing the truth, tools for facing challenges, tools for thinking strategically, and tools for handling surprises. Each one has a specific job to do. But here's the thing, a tool is useless if it just sits in the box. You have to actually use it. So as you look at your new toolkit, I've got just one question for you. Which one of these idioms are you going to use first to completely change a conversation this week?